Racism and discrimination are pervasive issues, and In the Heat of the Night, a landmark film from 1967, tackles these themes head-on. In the Heat of the Night is a film about a black cop named Virgil Tibbs, who is mistakenly accused of murder in a small town in Mississippi. After his name is cleared when they find out he's a cop, the police reluctantly ask him for help with the case, and Virgil reluctantly agrees. The film stars Sidney Poitier as Virgil Tibbs and Rod Steiger as Police Chief Gillespie, and is directed by Norman Jewison. I won't be discussing the sequels or the series starring Carol O'Connor because I have not seen those yet. This film was a big success in 1967, winning Best Picture at the Oscars, and Rod Steiger winning Best Actor. It was a huge moment in film history because Sidney Poitier was the first black man to play a cop, and the first black man to slap a white man on screen. I'll talk about that clip later. The 1960s was an interesting time for Hollywood. The golden age has come to an end. And films began to show more violence, sexuality, and serious themes. When the rating system came into use, it allowed filmmakers more freedom in filmmaking. In the Heat of the Night is one of many examples. New filmmakers like John Frankenheimer and many more started to emerge in the industry during this time. At the film's beginning, we see a train enter a small town of Sparta, Mississippi. Next, we see Officer Wood at a diner talking to diner cook, Ralph. He leaves for his duties, but stops at a house to stare at a naked woman wandering around inside. She doesn't mind and he eventually leaves for his duties. Officer Wood discovers a dead body and calls the police chief and other authorities. Officer Wood then leaves and arrives at the train station, where he meets our main character, Virgil Tibbs. Officer Wood treats Virgil badly and eventually arrests him.
Get them hands high. You spread them fingers, I want to count all 10.
The only reason Wood arrests him is because he's black and has a lot of money, treating him unequally compared to Ralph from earlier. Virgil is taken to the station, where even the police chief treats him badly. Gillespie questions Virgil about the murder, but Virgil has no idea and gives him his alibi. Despite this, Gillespie does not believe him, and accuses him of being a murderer. Virgil tells Gillespie he is a cop from Philadelphia, showing his badge. Gillespie calls Wood back in, and asks him to look at Virgil's badge.
Do you mind taking a look at that? Yeah! Oh, yeah! All right, I'll check on this wise city boy from Philadelphia. You take him outside and hold him.
Yes, sir.
Realizing he's a cop, Gillespie then asks Wood to take Virgil out. Virgil asks Gillespie to call the chief of Pennsylvania, revealing Virgil's status as a homicide expert. Gillespie asks him for help, but Virgil reluctantly agrees. Virgil and Gillespie go to the morgue. Virgil remains and inspects the body, asking for a few things. The morgue worker asks Gillespie who Virgil is.
What's going on here, Chief? Who is this boy, anyway?
And Gillespie
I asked
replies,
him to look at the body. That's who he is.
Virgil is met with hostility, yet he remains professional and determined. The next scene shows the police trying to catch the culprit. Gillespie catches the culprit named Harvey. Virgil meets Mrs. Colbert, the wife of the murdered man. She has no idea what happened to her husband, and Virgil informs her of his death.
Your husband is dead, Mrs. Colbert. Somebody killed him. We don't know who yet.
Mrs. Colbert is shocked and saddened by the news. Gillespie informs Virgil they no longer need his help since they already caught the culprit, but the examination results are in. Virgil examines Harvey's hands and realizes he is left-handed. Since he didn't confess, he might be innocent. However, the others do not believe him. They mock him, and here's where Virgil says his most iconic line.
He said it! He said it!
Virgil decides to send the examination results in, but Gillespie protests and asks,
What kind of people are you? What kind of a place is this?
Here we can see Mrs. Colbert trusts Virgil, the first person in town to actually trust him in a town of bigotry. Gillespie decides to lock Virgil in jail. Harvey berates Virgil, but Virgil tells him,
I'm on your side.
and shows his badge. Harvey starts to trust him, the second person to trust him, and Virgil can look past his comments. They have a conversation without hostility, sounding like a regular conversation. Virgil asks to look at Harvey's right hand. Gillespie comes in and gives him a waiver for false arrest. Virgil initially refuses, but later takes it and signs it. Virgil tells Gillespie about the body and how it was killed somewhere else, another step in the case, and decides to change the cause of death. Even though Gillespie hates Virgil, there's something in Virgil he can respect. This shows that even if you despise someone, there's always a part of them you can respect.
Change the charge to theft.
You mean Harv?
Mrs. Colbert demands Gillespie to let Virgil help, suggesting they might have the wrong man, and Gillespie reluctantly agrees. Right before Virgil is about to leave, Gillespie asks him to help, and he says no, even though he's not asking politely, but Gillespie finally convinces Virgil to help. The two men despise each other, but decide to work together. This shows that even though you despise someone, you still don't have a choice sometimes but to work with them to complete something. Virgil asks Mrs. Colbert who her husband's enemies were, and a name comes up,
What's Endicott?
Endicott. Virgil examines Mr. Colbert's car and finds a strand, and they both go to Endicott's house. Gillespie asks if there's something he does not know, and Virgil replies he found a strand of Osborne in Colbert's car. Endicott asks if they need anything. Endicott asks if they want anything, and Virgil says he wants something cold, which kind of berates Endicott since he's a black man in power. Endicott asks why they came, and Virgil says to ask him about Mr. Colbert, as he is a suspect.
Ever
Here
in
we
this
see
greenhouse, say
the
last
iconic
night,
slap.
about midnight.
He slaps Endicott back because he demands respect. Even though they're not treating him equally, he still demands respect one way or the other. This moment was groundbreaking, as it was the first time a black man was asserting his dignity and humanity by striking back at a white man on screen. This act of defiance is a pivotal moment for Virgil's character and challenges the power of dynamics of the time. Mr. Endicott asks Gillespie if he saw the slap, and he says he did, but does nothing about it, showcasing that his hatred for Virgil is slowly dwindling and turning into full respect for him. Gillespie tells Virgil to leave, but Virgil decides to stay to solve the case. Gillespie is not saying this out of hatred, but out of concern for Virgil's safety, as he slaps one of the most powerful men in town. Soon we see Virgil being chased by a group of men, and it caught hired to take him out. They ram his car multiple times, and we see Gillespie on the way to find him, feeling concerned about his safety after what he did. The car chase leads Virgil and the group of men to a train station where a fight breaks out. Virgil defends himself well, and Gillespie sees this and tells the group of men to go away. One of the men makes a racist comment, and Gillespie gets angry and punches him. In the beginning, Gillespie was a racist police chief, but now he has shown empathy towards a man who isn't the same race as him, defending him from racist comments and about to get beaten. He has completely changed. In the next scene, Virgil asks Wood for a ride, and he agrees. Wood doesn't reluctantly let him into his car. He happily lets him into his car. Two big changes in two of the main cops of this film. Wood goes to a diner and even asks Virgil if he wants anything. Gillespie comes in and tells Virgil to leave. Virgil says he wants Wood to trace his steps on the night of the murder. And he does, but he misses one big detail, the naked woman at the window. Virgil asks why he changed his route, and Wood gets angry, causing Virgil to leave. The next day, Virgil says they can prove Endicott is guilty, but Gillespie says it's too late and they already found a culprit. And it's Wood. But is it him? Even the other cops question if Wood is guilty. Her name was Dolores, and Lloyd, her brother, who is a hostile racist, comes in. And they talk about how Dolores is having Wood's baby and accuses him of statutory R-word. When Virgil comes in, the man is angry and wanting him to leave. But Gillespie says he'll do nothing, and Lloyd complies. When Virgil goes to see Harvey, their conversation is friendly with no racist comments. Harvey treats him like a regular person now and asks, while Virgil is asking about facts. And Harvey gives him the information he knows about. We see Lloyd gather a group of people to attack Virgil. Now we see Virgil investigating, and we find out it's not Endicott after all, it's someone else. Here we can see Virgil was only after a man he had anger towards, just like how the others in town had anger towards him. We find out the body was placed in the town, and the place he was killed is where Virgil is investigating at. Soon we see Virgil and Gillespie in a room together. getting to know each other on a personal level. The door knocks, and it's a guy looking for Virgil. Not for any racist reasons, but the man has information for Virgil, and he begins to investigate again. Virgil visits an illegal abortion clinic and pressures the abortionist for facts about Dolores. He soon sees Dolores and chases her, but Ralph confronts him, which is revealed they are a couple. He tells Ralph that he knows he killed Mr. Colbert. Soon the mob led by Lloyd arrives and holds him at gunpoint. Virgil tells the mob to look at Dolores' purse.
Look in her purse.
What's that mean?
She's got $100 to pay for an abortion.
Listen to that.
Money she got from Ralph.
You gonna listen to him?
He got her to tell you that Sam Wood did it. He made a fool out of you, Purdy.
At first they don't believe him, but they check her purse, and it's true. So it wasn't Wood after all who got Dolores pregnant. It was Ralph. Virgil arrests Ralph, but before he does, he shoots Lloyd dead, and Ralph confesses everything. We see Gillespie carrying Virgil's suitcase, symbolizing the respect and camaraderie that has developed between them. This act of modesty from Gillespie signifies his transformation from a prejudiced police chief to a man who respects Virgil as an equal. The film concludes with Gillespie telling Virgil,
You take care. You hear?
with a genuine sincerity, and Virgil responds kindly, saying, These events have transformed two characters who began as adversaries but grew to respect each other, highlighting the potential for change and understanding in the face of prejudice. The heart of the film is the evolving relationship between Virgil and Gillespie. Initially, Gillespie embodies the racial prejudices of the time, treating Virgil with suspicion and disdain. However, as they work together, mutual respect begins to develop.